This is once more homemade alcohol being burnt in my cheap as heck bioethanol fireplace, comprising one dirt cheap chimney purchased from the B&M budget shop for £29.99, which is well over 10 times cheaper than the cheapest proper home and garden style highly expensive like bioethanol fireplace you can buy, plus a couple of tins which are traditionally used in bioethanol fireplaces, and there's 3 of them going at the moment. This is the first test I've done with 3 tins burning in this particular setup. The ethanol I of course fermented and distilled myself using the Turbo 500 ethanol distiller, and the result is wonderful. With 1 tin, yes, there is convection, definitely, and you can feel it, but it doesn't really come out all that much. There's a massive temperature increase in the room. 2, you can feel it, yes, there is a feeling that the temperature in the air has gone up, but there's something magical about using 3 ethanol burning tins. The arrangement of this thing with the chimney, I do believe, does increase the airflow, and therefore seems to increase the rate at which the alcohol is being consumed, and also the temperature output from the alcohol itself. Now, you may think I'm obsessing a bit too much about heating and cooking, but heating, cooking and hot water are 3 of the basic things you need to survive if you're going to do anything vaguely off-grid. Alcohol is only one solution, and there's many more out there which will have to be explored. Obviously, I'm keeping the camera focused on the flames rather than my ugly face, because I know that this is what you pyromaniacs out there will enjoy wanting to look at. And of course you can see how beautiful this is, and I can show it off yet again. But my point here is that with 3 tins going, it really does pack out the heat, and it makes it a viable solution for providing domestic heating. I've got the vents in the windows both downstairs and upstairs open, so I'm hopefully not going to suffocate. I don't think I am going to suffocate through oxygen depletion, and so I feel totally safe. The carbon monoxide detector has not detected any carbon monoxide at all, so I feel safe from that as well. So ethanol itself appears to be a good fuel. Now, some of the distillation runs, as I've mentioned in previous videos, have left some grot, for want of a better word, in the distillate, which means that there's some bad smells given off by the ethanol. But on other runs I've done, I have not had that, despite not using carbon. Now, I have purchased some turbo carbon to see whether I can use that with a bread yeast and a smaller quantity of sugar to still try and get myself close to a 14% wash for the purpose, or mash, depending, for the purposes of distillation, so as I can generate the fuel. I'm just still experimenting with the chemicals and trying to get the balance of the sugar, the yeast, the nutrients, and all of these things right for the purposes of efficient and effective home or domestic level ethanol production, prior to reaching the state of doing more regular runs and maybe having 3 or 4 fermenters going at the same time, so I can set one going on one week and then do a distillation run on another one the same week, and then do the same the following week, and just turning it into a production lining thing, so it becomes like a weekly regular chore for me to do, to make sure I've got that extra ethanol for evening heating, for cooking, and keeping that side of things on track, as well as everything else. Now, I've been having a look at my credit reports, because that's also important as far as me getting a mortgage together, so that I can get the property that I need, so I can turn it into a completely off-grid living solution. And it'll be about spring of 2016 when I will actually be able to start thinking more practically about the possibility of getting either a property or the first property for the purposes of doing things. If I'm going to go off grid under my own steam, if I'm doing it with your help, I can do it with a lot quicker and for a lot more people. Remember, as is traditional, down there in the information bar there was a link which I'd like you to have a look at and follow, So, and to contribute to basically helping me out. The more people who learn about the forms of self-reliance and off-grid living, essentially the better, because it's not just a question of the environment, although the environment's a serious issue. We're also reaching the time of peak oil. Energy prices are already sky high. Energy is a serious issue. The grid in the UK is not reliable. I saw a news article a little while ago which suggested we only had 2 days worth of reserves of gas, and Britain is having to buy gas from the United States of America in order to be able to supplement our ability to be able to keep people warm. Now, if you are someone who thinks about self-reliance, especially in a dubious, environment or situation, then you're someone who needs to think about ways of sorting out your situation, and also to do it for other people, because if there's more and more people struggling, then there's going to be more crime, there's going to be more corruption, there's going to be more violence on the streets and all the rest of that kind of stuff. If more people are armed and equipped with methods that they can use to provide themselves with what they need for hot water, space heating, cooking technology and all the rest, the better. Alright? So anyway, that's what I'm politically passionate about, and I personally think that you should be too. You may be thinking, hey Nick, what's wrong with you? Everything's okay. Well, in reality, no it isn't. And I don't think that the nation itself, namely the government and the agencies of the state, can actually look after all of us all by their little selves. I mean, I think they need us to look after ourselves too. If there's going to be peace in merry England, if you get my drift. Okay? So, that's my point of view. This is what I've discovered so far. I did promise that if I discovered anything, I would tell you, so I'm telling you, so you can't say I haven't told you. Look after yourself, good fortune, God bless, keep safe, and all that jazz.